So these are just a series of questions that I found online about writing and the writing process. So just a little bit about me before we get started. My name is Ashton, and this is one of my 4 cats. Let's just go ahead and get started. So the first question is, are you more of a pantser or a plotzer? And I'm definitely more of a pantser. Like, I always have a bit of a rough outline going, but generally speaking, I really just kind of have my characters, and as the story progresses, I get to know them, and they tell me where their story wants to go. So, for instance, I just finished my first draft of, well, not just, I'm in the middle of working on my second draft of one of my books. And I always felt like this one character's story just wasn't totally complete. And like, I liked it, but something seemed off. She seemed to be trying to tell me something. And it was through the second take that I learned, oh, this is what you want. And it makes so much more sense. And it wasn't something I planned. I mean, like, obviously it is subconsciously, but hey, now I have that much more of an evolved story. And it's because I think that I'm so character driven. Like, I'm one of those people that knows my character's favorite color type of writers. So I think that's why, like, or how I shape my stories, because I am an extrovert and I love people. Okay, question 2. What do you need in your writing space in order to keep you focused? So for me, I am very strongly an extrovert. And what that means is that as a writer, it is, and in life in general, it is really difficult for me to get any work done whatsoever unless I am in the presence of others. So my favorite place to work is always going to be in the coffee shop because there are people around me. I love the sound of coffee brewing. Personally, I don't really drink coffee anymore. I'm more of a matcha girl. Yeah, I love going to a coffee shop and working. There's just something about that atmosphere that really works for me, and it just really fires me up and it makes me want to work. If, for instance, I need to work at home, so I've had jobs where I've worked from home before, and the best way for me to be able to do that is honestly for me to pull up other videos of people working from home. So, like, they're doing their little Pomodoro thing, they have their videos, their room set up, and I absolutely love to follow them along. And there's just something about watching somebody else work that makes me work. If I could spend a day with a popular author, who would I choose? I think the author, I'm so torn, honestly. Like, I would absolutely love to meet 3 different authors. I would love to meet Neil Gaiman. I have listened to interviews of him, I have watched videos of him, and I think he is just absolutely adorable. I love that man, and I would love to meet him. Another author that I would like to meet would be Donna Tartt. Everything that she writes is just simple poetry to me, and I love it. Like, I would love to know more about her and her writing process and see who she is as a person. And another person, I might get some hate for this, but I don't care. I do care. I care for the reasons why I would get hate for this. And I don't disagree that she might deserve some hate. But anyways, J.K. Rowling. And I say that because I really would love to talk to her about the Harry Potter series. I grew up on Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was my first novel. I remember waiting for the books to come out And I think that it would be really cool to talk to the person who created my love for characters. And it's as simple as that. What is your schedule like when you are writing a book? So, I have only finished writing one book, and I am currently working on my second one. And for the first one of my former coworkers had this challenge where for 30 days, all we were allowed to do was work on the plot of the book, like doing an outline, and we weren't really allowed to write at all. Like at one point he said, you were to write the first line of your last chapter and the last line, and then do an outline of everything in between, and that was it for the actual writing. And doing that made me so frustrated and made me want to write so badly that I ended up doing so in less than a month. It wasn't part of NaNoWriMo, it just was less than a month. And for that, I would sit down at my computer, or I would read for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, studying both a horror book and also the first Harry Potter book, because J.K. Rowling is very good at conversations, and my book was very dialogue heavy, and so I would just study both of them, and then I would go set up my computer, and I would go write for 2 hours afterwards with my study with me person going. I'm a night owl, so there's no coffee shops open when I like to write. And that's how I did that one. For the second book, I decided to go ahead and follow their 30-day challenge once again. But I'm finding with this one that because there are so many more characters, and this one's a mystery as opposed to a horror book, that I'm going to have to be like a lot more methodical about it versus just going to the computer, because for my first manuscript, it was really a simple task. It was really easy to keep up with because I was literally engaging with it every single day. The plot would progress. I decided not to skip around. I just continued to write it in order. And with this one, the second one is a murder mystery, and there are like 4 times the amount of main characters. So I'm having to really make sure that every single character is behaving before I even start writing it. And my characters are going to tell me who they are and what they want to do anyways, but I have to make sure that Sally Joe, that's not the name, but anyway, Sally Joe is not at the murder scene when she's not supposed to be. So it will be interesting. I'm not as far along as that as I would like to, because I've been doing a lot of like short story work, but I'm excited to get back into that very soon. Have you ever traveled for research for your book? Not exactly for that purpose. I haven't traveled, but I may or may not have uprooted my entire life specifically to move to my home state in order to do research, because I'm insane. What is your favorite writing snack or drink? So I'm not really much of a snacker, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really thought, like, if you would have asked me this like 2 or 3 months ago, my answer would have been coffee for daytime. But let me tell you, I love matcha. I'm not going to go into it for like a whole little bit, but my entire life is sponsored by matcha. It's the best. I'm addicted in a good way. How do you celebrate when you finish a book? Bro, I was so excited when I finished my book. Like, when I got to 50,000 words, which is considered you winning NaNoWriMo, I did like a little like celebratory like little like dinner. And then when I finished the novel, I did another celebratory dinner. And like, food is my love language. I absolutely love food. Like, I know I said that I didn't snack, and that's still true. But my boyfriend took me to one of the nicest places in town to celebrate, and it made me feel really, really awesome. And I appreciate it. What do you think of NaNoWriMo? Um, I like NaNoWriMo. I've tried to participate in it once, and I started halfway through, but I finished a little bit more than halfway, and I thought that was a fun experience because as an extrovert, it made me really happy that there were different events where I could log on to Discord and challenge myself. Like, when I have to write on a timer, when I'm with a group of people, it's so fun. And when I have a deadline, it's also fun. I am seriously motivated by deadlines and timers. And although I did not finish my first draft for my first manuscript through NaNoWriMo, I still did it in less than 30 days. So it kind of felt like I was doing a private NaNoWriMo. And I don't know, there's just something about the thrill of trying to get it done in a certain amount of time that I just find invigorating. And to anybody who can do NaNoWriMo, which is just making it to 50,000 words, you don't even have to finish the book to count as a win. But 50,000 words, you win NaNoWriMo, and I think that's a good challenge to do. And I think that it's incredible. Sorry, there's a kitty who wants attention. I think that it's incredible to write a story in November, and I'm in the United States, so we have Thanksgiving at the end of the month. So to be able to juggle family at the very end of it, kudos. I think that's awesome. What is your kryptonite as a writer? My kryptonite is that I can have fully formed stories in my head without ever writing them. And then, like, I literally have a solid 80% of a trilogy up here. I started writing it in 2003 or 2004, and only some of it has touched the page. And at this point, it is so built up in my head that I am worried to write it, honestly. Like, I don't know if that's ever going to get written because I know it too intimately. Do you play music while you write? No. The only time I will ever play music while I'm writing is if I am trying to set the mood. So if I'm writing a horror scene, I will go into YouTube and I will search up like horror soundtracks and I will listen to them just so I can kind of get my head into like that spooky mood. And sometimes I will pull up this app, if I remember I'll link them later, where you can emulate coffee shop sounds. And so it's all just like kind of like sounds of the coffee shop, and it's just like some piano, some instrumental. For the most part, I have to have silence when I write, or just the sound of like other people like typing or writing. Music, especially music with lyrics, just really distracts me. So it's not very often, but like I'll listen to Johannes Brahms. Sometimes I'll listen to Dark Academia musical compilations that I can find on Spotify or YouTube, but for the most part, it's silence and other people working. Have pets ever gotten in the way of you writing? I have 4 cats, and they all like to kind of hang out on my desk space because I have like this really wide window where they like to like go and crawl up there and like just watch the world around them and sunbathe. And so like it can be kind of like annoying. And then I have a kitten who, as you can see in this photo, is very, very, very much in need of sitting on my papers. And I don't think I have a photo, but another kitty tends to lay on my notebooks, and I always feel very bad if I have to grab the notebooks from underneath him, but ultimately I will, because he'll find a new place to be comfortable in a few seconds, but I need the notebooks. Have you ever killed off a character that your readers love? So far I have only had feedback from one of my readers, and he got very mad at me because he absolutely loved the characters, and the entire time he was just like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I like each and every single one of these girls. I'm just like, guess you'll have to wait and see. And that's how I am with you guys. You'll just have to wait and see if I actually kill off characters and which ones you love. Because who doesn't love a good death? And that is the last of the questions that I have found on this list. I hope that you have enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. I post Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Central Time. And I have 32 original short stories on here if you would like to check them out. Thanks for watching. Bye.